My name is Sal Tumaroa. Alo soy fua lagi mata I Mario le Senga Pacific Law Student Association Pilsa. I am from Samoa. My parents are from Samoa. My mum's from the village of Sutton Plains. If you don't know Sutton Plains, and my dad is from Tatu. I am born and raised here in New Zealand, but I visited Samoa many times. I'm a late bloomer to law. I went to Auckland Girls Grammar, and I'll just tell you a little bit of a story about myself. Actually, I think we're going to do introductions first, eh? And then I'll come back to my story.
Kia rana koutou katoa tui te aroa mātou te toa, Christy Morgan Tōpunga. I am a child of migrants to New Zealand. My father was New Zealand born, but his parents are from England. And my mum is from Rarotonga, Little Islands. Same with my nana and my papa is from Maputo. So Atu, Auckland, Te Aro. And I was born and raised in the East Coast, down on Hawke's Bay. I was from Napier. I came from a family that actually none of my siblings finished high school. No one in my family went to university or even considered it an option. I was from a middle to low class family and happy family. And it was, I guess, there was no aspirations for studying or law or, I guess, having any type of professional careers. So I definitely fell into being a barrister, what I am today. And that's my intro. Oh, just that.
So, to cut a long story short, I didn't do law school until in my late 20s. After high school, I said, okay God, I'm finishing high school, don't know what I want to do. I do want to go to uni. I think I want to be a teacher's training college. But if I don't get into anything, then I'm not going to get a job. So that year, that was 19, I won't tell you what year it was, but it was before cell phones and emails and all of that. I went to Samoa that year. I remember coming back and in the mail I got a letter from the university and said, so sorry, you're not accepted into university. I said, okay, I think I'm going to be a cover teacher. Opened up the second letter and it said, so sorry to get into teacher's training college. I said, oh, okay, I'm 18, 19 years old, okay, I meant to get a job. It was quite common in those times for everybody got a job. So the first job I got was working at the Auckland High Court. I was 19 and it was through the Pacific Affairs, I think it's we'll call it Pacific People's Affairs, Pacific People's Ministry. And at the time at the courts, they had no Pacific people working at the High Court. They had a lot of Pacific people working at the District Court. So it was a training, it was a trial program just to get Pacific people into the High Court. So I started there with 5 others. There was a Cook Island boy, Niue boy, me Samoan, and another Samoan. So there was, and it was great. So I worked at the Auckland High Court for 10 years. And then come at the end of the 10 years, I thought, I don't want to go for another job and start from the bottom up. So a good friend of mine said, you're right, we just put you into they call it the New Start program at Auckland University. I went in thinking I'm going to become a social worker, and I do remember a law lecturer there, and I thought, no, you know what, I'm going to try law. God, if I get into law school, I know this is my pathway. So I got into part 1, and you know how you have to get into part 2? And they say you got to get high grades to get into part 2. So I use my accent, Samoan language, and my 2 Samoan papers got me A pluses. They got me into part 2. So I was grateful. That's how I got into law. I mean, I'm not ashamed of it, but that's how I got into law school part 2. It took me ages to get there, but there was one university lecturer at the time, and he pulled me aside and he said, I don't think law's for you. And I walked out of that room and I said, I'm not going to listen to you. I know this is my pathway and I'm going to finish law school. So I've been practicing as a lawyer for about almost 20 years. I do have a small law practice with my father's name, Timonua Law, and I specialise in family law. So me and my buddy here, Chrissy, we kind of do our businesses together, and we have recently did a program called Tūlanga Vai about a couple of years ago, and I'm just going to hand it over to my friend here who's going to explain more about the Tūlanga Vai program.
So I'll just do mine. Yeah. So like I said, I was from the East Coast, and I just about didn't finish high school like my siblings, but that was just because I didn't find it interesting or valuable. But thankfully, the Lord blessed me with enough brains to get through. And then after that, I just went and worked with my older sister. She was working for Working Income. That's what it was called at the time, now MSD. And then I ended up working there for 2 years. And after 2 years, I kind of was just thinking, is this really it? Is this what my life is going to be like? Not that I didn't appreciate the job. I just didn't appreciate, I guess, the setting and working for someone. And I just wanted to do more than that. So I thought I'd just try my luck at going to university. Like I said, I didn't know anything about university. All I knew is that you could go and become a lawyer or a doctor, but I was terrible at science, so I just thought I'd give law school a go, because I prefer to read and write. And then I got into law school, and the rest is history, really. But I definitely got through law school because of Pilsa, because of the support. It was, law school was such a daunting, foreign experience to me. Coming from a community background, we don't question, we stay quiet, we don't normally ask for help. Things like that. So being in a competitive environment was foreign, looking different, having so many prejudices placed upon me before I even opened my mouth. It was really difficult. So the support I received from Pilsa was amazing, and it made me feel like I was seen and heard, and that I was valuable, and that I belonged in that space. So that is definitely, I am so proud to see where Pilsa is today, and privileged to be in this room, because I already know how hard it is for you to get to part 2. So I applaud you for that, and like I said, I didn't feel like I belonged, and there was definitely moments where I questioned myself, like, was I good enough? Am I smart enough? But through faith, definitely, and Pilsa and the support of strong friends and mentors, I got there in the end. And what I wanted to say was, like, one of the biggest things I learned was, in Cook Islands we say kia mau to o peo, so hold on to your cultures, hold on to who you are and where you have come from. Because I realize, and I realize it now, that I didn't have to become someone else to become a law student, or to become a graduate, or to get a job, or to become a lawyer. In fact, that was who I was, who I am, and where I come from. My culture, my values, my connection to my people, that's my strength. And so I just encourage you all, because I know you all have those strengths. You all have connections, you all have cultures, you all have ancestors who have come before you, and paved the way for you to be sitting where you are right now. And take that with you. That's your strength. That's your asset. that you provide to any future employers, and so you bring so much more with you than just what you look like, and that's all that matters really. And to be honest, being in law is not easy. There's always times where you'll feel very stretched and challenged, and when you doubt yourself, and when the justice system, it wasn't really built definitely with us in mind. So it will take you and us and you to come and shape it and make it look a way that suits us and our peoples and our communities. So anyway, that's my story. But like my buddy here said, we started a program called Tulangavai, and that program was built because we saw an increase with family lawyers, so we work in the family court, and we saw an increase of our Pacific peoples coming into the family court space and needing better outcomes for them, for their families, for our children, and not enough Pacific lawyers to support those families. And we know through our experience, our many years of experience, that having Pacific competency, cultural competency, provides better outcomes for our Pacific peoples. And so we saw an increase in our Pacific people coming to the family court, and then a decrease in Pacific representation or cultural competency. Because a good lawyer is a good lawyer, but having that competency in culture is what provides the better outcomes for our Pacific people. So what did we do? We just created a program. We created a program to increase Pacific people moving into that family law space as lawyers or as support staff within firms or in the court registry as well. And we just created it. So it's like a foundational program which explains the family work, family court space, family practice, along with cultural competency built in. So we just wanted to share that as an option for anyone who's interested in practicing in the family law space. Please, our people are there, they're overrepresented in the system, but underrepresented as advocacy or as advocates. So if you want to come into the family law space, we definitely encourage it. It creates really rewarding work, very challenging work, but you will get financially, it's a good space to be in, but you can also have pride in your heart that you're giving back to your community and you're providing a service, as well as, earning a financial reward to support you and your families. So that's just our spiel. Thank you so much for having us. Did you want to add, buddy?
So when we started the Family Law Tulangavai program, we noticed that there's a big gap of having family lawyers coming into our space, and we wanted to know why. Why aren't we hiring family lawyers into our space? And sometimes we're waiting for the Balangi lawyers to hire our Pacific lawyers to get into the space. But then there was a lot of us who had owned practices. So we went around and asked them, why aren't you hiring junior lawyers? And the first thing they said to us, we don't have time to train. So that was the birth of our program. So we decided, let's just do a program. We're not doing it for free. We found funding. If you're a lawyer, you're smart, think smart. So we found some funding, and we ran this program in 2022. First program, 2022, we asked the Community Law Centre if we could have it there. We did it once every week for 2 hours, or an hour. For 12 weeks. And so what we did was that we did first half the cultural and the family law practice training, and the second half we invited a lot of Pacific lawyers to come and give their story. And we did that for 2022, and we did it again for 2023. This time we got a little bit smarter. We halved the program to 6 weeks. Gave it a little bit longer. We had even judges come through to be our speakers, a lot of the senior lawyers. And then at the end of the 2023 program, we found that a lot of new Pacific lawyers were being hired. And I think there was an increase, probably 10 to 15 lawyers in our space working in Manukau and Manukau. And we kind of know it was because of the program. And a lot of our colleagues were beginning to hire. And they would ask, did this person do a tūlanga mai? We ended up being like agents for lawyers. They weren't advertising, they were shoulder tapping us and go, do you have a student who could finish, he's done law school? And so that the catch for us is, you got to finish your law degree and you got to get admitted to the bar. If you've done those two, then you've got a good chance of getting into our space, but even more so if you do our program. And that increases your chances of being employed. And if you show up, you will get to see some of the lawyers, you understand how we run our cases. From screening a new client on the phone to taking it all the way to a hearing. And you also meet some of our Pacific judges. Right now in the bench for Pacific judges, our first Pacific judge was Judge Malusi. Now we've got probably 4 or 5 Pacific judges in family court and an increase of Pacific judges in the criminal court. 20 years ago, there was only one face, but now we've got Pacific and Māori judges on the bench, which is a great pride for us. So my encouragement for you, when I was thinking about coming tonight, I was thinking, all of you, you're leaders already. You are in the making of being leaders in your own communities, in your own churches, in your own families, in your own profession. I think some of you is going to make great judges, go international, be lawyers in Pacific, be CEO company managers. The sky's the limit with a law degree. You might even be politicians, your own classmates. We've looked around our own classmates. Some of them are judges now. Well-respected senior practitioners in their own field. CEO for big companies and so forth. And that's just being in the classroom. It starts in the classroom. So don't think lightly about why you've been in law school. I think you guys are going to be great leaders. But stay authentic to yourself. Stay true to yourself. I remember it was Sandra Lufiba, who's now a judge. She said to me, your biggest asset is your culture, your language, your family. Those are your biggest assets. Stay true to those things. God, stay true to those things, and He will bless you and guide you all the way. My encouragement for you when I ask for law students, what do you want to do? And they go, I'm not sure. I think I want to do, be sure. Know exactly what you want. Speak life to your destiny and to your path. If you know exactly what you want to do, speak life to it. Don't be shy. Okay? Don't be shy. If you know exactly what you want to do, go for it. And go and create your path. When I did law school, I think somebody asked me several times, what do you want to do? I said family law. Instantly. It was in my head. And when I finished law school, and like my colleague here, I was grateful for Pilsa, because Pacific students, us Pacific, we do great together. We do great together as a collective, not as individuals. When we go and practice now, we always talk to our Pacific colleagues, or even our own colleagues, about our practice. We don't try and do it by ourselves. So we are great as a collective. And when I finished law school, my first job, my first interview I got, and I was thinking, that's not me, that's a God moment for me. Really grateful, because I just knew. So I'm really encouraging you all, speak life to your life, what pathway you want to take. If you want to do family law, come see Ms. Morgan. If you want to do commercial law, see my brother here, Mr. Betea. But if whatever you want to do, please speak life to it. Pray into it. God, this Jeremiah 29 verse 11, God has a plan for you. plans to bring you prosperity, not disaster. You will come to me, you will pray, and I will show you the way. Easy, easy. God is good.